Rick Wilson.
Hello, Molly. How are you?
I'm just better than JD Vance.
As one would be, because JD Vance clearly has begun to experience the great and well-deserved reputation Donald Trump has for loyalty.
I think we should call it the Trump vice presidential curse.
Yeah, look, I mean, you had Mike Pence out today on the weekend shows.
Yeah.
One of them, I can't, NBC, I guess. Um,
What did Mike Pence say today?
he was saying, "Oh, well, Trump has departed from conservative principles." I'm like, "Oh, you noticed
You feel like when
when he tried to
somebody's
kill you."
yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I feel like that might, if
Might
I
have
were
been a
Mike
giveaway. Call me
Pence.
crazy, but
Yeah. Yeah, but Mike Pence, yeah, the idea of a weaponization fund. So it is interesting to me. So let's talk. I
sure.
want to talk about the weaponization fund just for a second, and then I want to talk about Trump's.
How well it's going over with Republicans?
Yeah, it's not going.
Not
It's
at all. In
not
fact,
at
even even
all.
even in the public polling, you've got about 75% of Republicans who don't wanna do this thing.
Yeah, which is I mean, these
It's
are
a big
people
number.
who would
That's
live
a
and die for Trump.
Yes, it's a big number. It is a real and meaningful departure from what the normal loyalty. I was emailing with a friend of mine, Jim Left, this weekend, and he, brought my attention to an article he did, an article that Paul Krugman did, about you're really starting to bolt down like where the hardcore of the hardcore base is. I think Paul's assessment and Jim's assessment was if you think the economy is good right now, you're the hardest of the hardcore. That's about 19%.
Right.
And somebody from another writer said that 13% of Americans believe in Bigfoot.
Right.
So I think the people that support the weaponization fund are probably in that Bigfoot adjacent category of Trump supporter.
So let's get back to Vance, just
Yeah.
Vance. We've seen basically for the last 6 months a sort of like Vance v. Rubio kind of death match in the
Yeah,
media.
I think that's over in Trump's mind.
And you think Rubio's won.
I think Rubio has won that battle, at least as far as Trump's affections go.
Right.
I also don't think the battle is over. Trump has always enjoyed pitting his staff, his supporters,
Yeah.
his followers against one another, and essentially it's like doing death matches between them.
Yeah.
And you look at Marco right now, who is in Trump's mind, higher in the food chain than Vance, but there will come a moment where Trump decides that Marco is no longer acceptable. He always does this. This is not ever, you can never count on your position with Donald Trump over time. No one ever survives over time.
And
No matter how close they were, no matter how tight they were with him, there will always come a day where he lives out his little piece of poetry about the snake.
yeah.
He's the
And
snake.
the New York Times had a really good TikTok about sort of the weaponization fund and how we got here.
It's going
And
great. It's going
right.
great.
And
People love it. It's
and it
super
talked
popular
yeah, and
with
it
no
talked
one
and in
anywhere.
and in this piece it talked about that the engine driving the weaponization fund, and I think this is an important data
Yeah.
point, is the Trump personal lawyer, Boris Epshteyn.
Yes. Boris has smartly kept his head down a lot more in this term.
Yeah.
But he is definitely the engine behind Boris is the engine from what I'm told behind both the weaponization fund and behind a lot of the warm-up act for election denial 2026.
Yeah.
That he's part of the whole team that's around that Cleta Mitchell election. They're pre-butting the election already by saying it's all stolen. I think Boris is sort of the dark eminence inside the Trump universe right now, in terms of he's operating quietly, he's operating behind the scenes, but he's certainly operating, and you can see the impact of it in that piece.
And Boris had this audit, the idea that you can't audit
Right.
Trump or his kids anymore, that was gonna somehow be government
Good
mandated.
good luck with that in the future, Boris. That's gonna work out well.
It's just
Because
such a crazy, like, I thought it was Todd Blanche coming up with it, but it makes a lot more sense that
no,
it's Boris.
no, Boris getting, and I suspect that Blanche is throwing, Boris under the bus a little bit here, because Blanche has started to feel a lot more heat and anxiety than he should be feeling in his
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Um, I mean, he deserves it, don't say me Blanche deserves everything he's gonna get, but I think he is tossing Boris a little bit of the press a little bit of Boris meat so that they
Yes.
will look away from him,
Yes.
while he has to start answering more of these Epstein, not Epstein related questions in the immediate future.
Yeah, and it's funny because one of the reporting sort of last week's really big story from the Times was about the sort of Marco Vance runoff,
Yeah.
which had a lot of stuff that seemed like it was coming from Trump world about Marco Vance. Remember, the number one leaker in the Trump White House.
It's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
People, if you hear a source close to the president, 60% of the time it is the president.
So when you read these closely reported stories,
Especially stories from people that we know, and let's be real about that.
they're
You and I know a lot
well,
of those people that get those phone
yeah,
calls,
but
and,
a and but that a lot of times it's Trump trying to shape the narrative about his
right.
predecessors,
Y
his predecessors, his successors.
one of the favorite one of my favorite things that Trump does with reporters is he'll say to a reporter, "All my friends are asking me, is JD doing a good job?"
Yeah,
I'm hearing people are asking about whether JD's doing a good job.
yeah,
That means Trump wants to evoke that answer from people, and they get it inside that world. They get it that Trump wants them to say, "No, sir, he's doing a terrible job. You should replace him with someone better." You know, he's not
yes.
subtle about it. Let's put
There's
it
no
that way.
Jim. There's no
There's no
friend
Jim.
Jim.
It's all Donald.
It's all done.
John Barron.
One of the things in this piece, though, that he talks about is the idea that Vance takes too many vacations. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but look, Donald Trump he's too chicken shit to fire him. And really, actually,
Right.
there's probably not really a great way to do it
Yeah, can you
constitutionally, but
fire a vice president?
now that's what I'm saying is there's not really a way to do it in the Constitution, but that wouldn't stop Donald Trump if he really, really got his hard on to do it. He would do it. Um, but I do think, Molly, we're at a point now where you look at where Trump sees the immediate future. He sees every time he says, "I don't care about the midterms," it means he cares very deeply about the midterms.
Right.
I think he's starting to try to shape the future to pick out who he wants as the golden child for MAGA. And you notice he said over the weekend, or during the I guess it was the end of the week, there was that big meeting with Candace and Tucker, all these like people who are MAGA but opposed to the Gulf War or the Iran War. Good Freudian slip, Wilson.
Yeah.
And he came out and says, "Well, they're not MAGA. I'm MAGA. I'll decide who's MAGA."
Right.
And I think he's starting to look at himself as the kingmaker to come in the immediate years ahead of him, however many there are left. And so I think that's why you're getting this sort of vibe of competition between Vance and Rubio. And you're going to start seeing him mentioning senators or governors that he likes. You're
Mhm.
going to see him play the game. He's going to throw meat out there to make them all compete for his love,
Right. Which is
just
what
like
he does
with his
with his
children.
kids, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to, this is all happening with the backdrop of, quietly fired Tulsi, Bondi,
Yep.
Nome,
Yep.
Phelan from the Navy,
Yep.
Walls was moved to nat from, national
National
security.
security age or a national security advisor to UN,
To
which is a nothing burger job.
right, so those are 5
A
of
job
the
so nothing burger they wouldn't even give it to Elise Stefanik.
that's right.
Oh,
But all those people are gone,
yep,
quietly mushed,
yep.
right?
And a lot more below that waterline that we don't pay as much attention to.
Right.
There has been a good amount of churn in the first year of this administration, but it's not as splashy and as visible with some of these people. But and he learned that trick of, oh no, Christy Nome wasn't fired. I never fired her. She's fine. I put her to the guardianship of the shield of America,
Yeah.
whatever.
We never heard from those people ever
Right?
again.
It's all gone.
It's interesting to watch this crew and then to watch Donald Trump spend most of his time trying to purge the Republican Party of people he doesn't like.
You know what? We talked about it last time. And he got rid of John Cornyn because he wanted to get rid of John Cornyn. He
Yeah.
just didn't like John Cornyn because John Cornyn wasn't with him 100% of the time on every single issue, every single time. And you know what? Now you got Ken Paxton, a degenerate criminal who is corrupt at a level that even makes Texas corruption look extremely corrupt. It takes a lot,
Yeah.
right?
And
Um, and you've got Tallarico, who no matter how much they bleat and scream, he's a transsexual, you know what? He's a young guy. He's articulate as hell. He's got
right.
a hot girlfriend. None of it is going to shape the election as none of the MAGA talking points are going to shape the election as much as the reality that Ken Paxton is a criminal and a degenerate.
So Ken Paxton has survived impeachment, right?
Yep.
He has his wife did not
Because
vote.
his sugar daddy bribed the Texas State Senate,
Right. He went around and told people he would primary them if they voted for impeachment or
right?
for removal. So he got impeached but not removed.
Right.
Uh
And he is, the oil and gas folks that are his sugar daddies
yeah.
really went full bore and they went pedal to the metal for him and they saved him.
But if you look at the polling out of Texas, what you see is that he is not the Tellerico is up a point or two. And if you or or more
Or
or
more.
yeah, versus in the governorship like Abbott, who's not a great guy by any stretch of the imagination, is still ahead.
Ken Paxton is uniquely vulnerable in this race for the publicly facing nature of cheating on his wife, of having this affair with this MAGA mama influencer, whoever she is, with 7 children, of being he's the guy who stole somebody else's pen and practically had to go to court for the guy to get it back. He's the guy who stole the cake somebody delivered to his office so he could take it home for himself. I mean that's an actual story I read the other day. I was like, God bless. But
Mhm.
Paxton is also narrow casting. And Texas is a very conservative state, but Paxton is narrow casting to Texas right now.
What does
It is
narrow
the it is
casting
the
mean?
it is the all MAGA all the time, culture war stuff. And right now, the electorate in Texas doesn't look like it did in 2024. Hispanics have told the Republican Party, we're done. We're divorcing you. We're over. It's over.
Yeah.
We had a hot affair in 24. It didn't work out. You killed the economy, you idiots. And so it's a lot harder for Paxton to put that winning coalition together than it was before, especially because of his own character flaws.
And one of the important points when you talk about this Hispanics breaking with Trump is that these are the numbers that the Republicans have used for the Texas gerrymander.
Oh, yes, it is. And they built a model that was based on the voter performance for the general election in the fall of 2024. And and because Donald Trump was on that ballot, that number was higher. The lower propensity Hispanic voters that were Trump curious came out in 24. They're not on that ballot now. So you've got a bunch of seats in Texas that that are actually now vulnerable because Donald Trump is not on the ballot and because the economic premise that they bought into in 2024 not only wasn't delivered on by Trump, the opposite was what Trump delivered. He didn't deliver economic prosperity. He delivered economic misery at a scale that these people are not going to readily just say, okay, no problem, all is forgiven, Donald, no harm done.
Yeah. And I think that's something that is kind of important.
Oh, I think it's very important, and I think Molly, what we're seeing right now with Paxton trying to turn this into the culture war game, it's like you need a symphony orchestra to win a big election like this, and he's got a one note flute. He doesn't have the same ability to make people go, "Oh my God, he's so liberal. He's a liberal liberal. That
Yeah.
Tallarico's too liberal for Texas." When the economy is burning down around us.
Yeah. $5 gas is not
Yeah,
going
and
to.
even in Texas, I mean, in the week's greatest self own, Ted Cruz said, "I just paid $3.99 for gas." Oh yeah, that makes it all better for a family that's struggling to get by on a $60,000 income.
Well,
A
the good
hole.
news is that Ted Cruz's wife works for Goldman Sachs. I would love you to talk about the Graham Plattner situation. Graham
Yeah.
Plattner, Maine candidate, polling pretty well. Wife tells campaign director, political director, that there are texts of, so I mean, I think this is important, A, because it means that these texts, they knew about them. The campaign knew about them. The political director decided to tell us about this now.
Yeah, well, the political director left the campaign.
She seems really mad. I mean, obviously, it was not good that he did this sexting. They made it
Right.
sound like he did it before they were married, but that's not
That
right.
I
Is
don't
it?
know.
I don't know.
I haven't been able to dig into it beyond that one piece that's out right now, but I'll tell you what, if we're in a world where we're worried about Graham Plattner having had some spicy texts with women, that is, an issue with Graham Plattner and his wife.
Yeah.
If they're gonna make this a character test, here's the character test that I think is important in Maine. Susan Collins has voted with Donald Trump 97.7% of the
Right.
time. She is Donald Trump's slave. She will do whatever Donald Trump tells her in the end, no matter what public posture her pollsters and her consultants tell her. She will always be a reliable vote for Donald Trump. She is fine with Donald Trump being Epstein adjacent. She is fine with Donald Trump burning the country to the ground. She is fine with Donald Trump running the most corrupt and immoral administration in history. And if I'm Graham Plattner, I say, I'm a man. I fucked up. I apologize to my wife. You know what? I'm going to move forward on this. If you don't want to vote for me because I sent some texts, great, don't. But if you want to vote for Susan Collins, you know what you're getting. And what you're getting is somebody who is a slave to Donald Trump and will never defy Donald Trump under any circumstances. And
I
that's
want
why they pay me the medium-sized bucks.
I want to ask you though, how much of this is anxiety about Fetterman?
A meaningful amount, I think,
Yeah.
Molly. That's a really good insight. I think a meaningful amount because Fetterman was the dream date,
Yeah.
and suddenly,
Dressed cool, acted weird.
yeah, kind of a weirdo, kind of a great narrative. Um, and what happened to Fetterman, actually, let me rephrase that. What happened to the Democratic Party because of their embrace of Fetterman is wigging out a few people. But I honestly think, Molly, Plattner is a different character.
Yeah.
And again, we live in a world where if we believe that our candidates are characters from the West Wing, we will always be disappointed.
What I think is so important about about the story, the Plattner story, is that ultimately it is up to the people of Maine. Like neither
Yeah.
you nor I will even vote in
Nope.
this primary.
We will not.
So if the people of Maine feel that he is what they want to represent them, then they will vote for him. And if not,
If I were a Maine voter, I would take the flawed Graham Plattner over the compromised Susan Collins.
yeah.
The things that are at stake right now, I look a lot of it like people that are recruited for special forces assignments are occasionally not the perfect individuals you want to have over for a dinner party, but they are the guy who will go out and do the actual work that he's doing at that moment. I feel like there's a sense here that you got to keep this in the frame of what you're voting on. You're voting on whether Donald Trump gets another Supreme Court justice when Clarence Thomas dies.
You
You're
you
voting on Donald Trump being able to control the Senate of the United States of America. And
yeah.
I think those stakes, I'll take a Graham Plattner all day long if those are the stakes. And yeah, you know what he should do? He should straighten his shit out.
Rick Wilson.
Yes, ma'am. Are you gonna have me back again?
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not.